What's up, guys? Rick from DFS On Demand here with your betting preview for this week's Northern Trust. Before we jump into that, I always forget to mention this on the betting video, but each week I give away a membership, a weekly membership to my site, DFS On Demand, where you can use the tools that you see in all the videos each week. So I'll offer that up here as well. 2 ways to enter. Make sure you've liked and subscribed to the channel, obviously. Leave a comment below and tell me who is the best bet for this week, taking their odds into account. That's one way. The other way is a little bit more important and even easier to win is if you're listening on iTunes, give it a 5-star review to the podcast and just say something nice about the show. iTunes has added a fantasy sports category, so that's obviously very important to help continue to grow this and continue to make more videos. So that's it. I'll draw a couple of winners for next week, and let's get into the bets. All right, the betting preview. Let's make a little money here. As we do each week, this is going to be a condensed version, just a handful of names, maybe some guys that I've bet myself. Actually, they're almost always guys I've bet myself or faded myself. And then some general, just quick hitters here. If you're looking for something longer, I've got plenty of that for you. There is a weekly show called Golf Betting On Demand that I host. It's on sportsgrid.com, 7 to 8 Eastern Tuesday nights, and then you can find it on the Fantasy Network's YouTube channel. I'll tweet it out, all that good stuff. Additionally, I went on the Smash Factor pod with the Gups Corner crew last night, so we talked a little betting at the end of that. So there's a lot of information out there, but just kind of honing it down to the bets that I've made myself and that I'm most interested in. So let's start with some of the shorter guys. And Webb Simpson, to me, as the week goes on, continues to just really pique my interest. We saw him at like 9-1 last week. He goes to 25-1 this week, and I just really don't think he gets credit for how well he has played in a lot of these recent big tournaments. I mean, he continues to show up in majors. He's got no worse than a 30th place finish in any major this year, which includes like a 5th place at the Masters, 16th at the US Open. Going back to last season, 2 top 6 finishes in the last 2 playoff events. We know he can contend here. He's got that Players Championship win. He's just like, he's probably one of the hottest players on the face of the earth right now. He's got 3 second-place finishes in his last 5 starts, and he's proven that no matter what the field is, he can compete and he can win. Players Championship is, kind of widely considered the best field there is each year. This is another great one. And because the field is so strong, his odds obviously drop back to 25-1, which I still think is fair for a guy who is super hot at the moment. So he gets an investment from me at that 25-1 number. Someone who's not going to get an investment from me, so that this fade is Francesco Molinari. I'm seeing him at 40-1. He has sprinkled a handful of decent finishes in majors recently, but the rest of his play is pretty uninspiring. Showing up in the 40s, showing up in the 50s a lot of these at these tournaments, and whether it is maybe schedule based, he doesn't play well this time of year, something like that. Maybe this field has been a little bit too much for him, who knows? But the last 3 Northern Trusts, he has missed the cut. It's the only 3 he's played. So it's a little concerning. He doesn't have a lot of momentum going for him. 40-1 is not a long enough number for me to be able to jump on. And then I'll elaborate on the fades where rookies and guys who have not won on the tour yet as of this point in their career, also guys I'm staying away from. This is the FedEx Cup. This is a playoff event. All the best players are here. Very rare that someone gets their first win as a playoff event. Camilo Villegas, I tweeted this out, only guy to do it in this FedEx Cup era. And in fact, his first 2 wins were FedEx Cup playoff events, but otherwise it doesn't happen. So staying away from a lot of those younger guys who haven't had their chance to really, cut their teeth on tour yet, except for Matt Wolff. I think Matt Wolff is interesting. Now, he also has the win, so he doesn't even fit into that category. He's already won this year. Played super well last week, and I'm seeing him at 80. I think he was actually 100-1 earlier in the week. I'm seeing him at 80 now. he lost strokes off the tee and around the green last week, but otherwise was one of the best tee to green players in the field. Those off the tee and around the green are aspects that he usually excels at. So I'd be interested to see if he bounces back. He can get hot. A lot more guys are going to make the cut this week. So if he gets 4 rounds in, I think he can, climb up the leaderboard. I'm really interested to see how he reacts to a field like this in a situation like this. And then finally, I want to cut over to the head-to-head betting tool. So this is on dfsondemand.com. You can plug in any 2 golfers for a 4-round tournament matchup and see how they pan out here. And I want to start with this one, which is Bubba Watson versus Sergio Garcia, because I pulled up my book of choice and saw that this was a toss-up. I saw that it was -115 on both sides, which is literally a coin flip and then the vig that the books take. So I plugged them into this tool, and wouldn't you know it, I get it at almost exactly a coin flip. This is as close as it gets. I've got Sergio winning 50.56% of the time. The true money line being, -102. Obviously, no juice involved there, but it's really cool to see when, and this happens fairly often when this tool gets as close as the books do. I think you're onto something. So I always like that and wanted to point it out. Now that's using the last 20 weeks of data. If you actually expand this window a little bit and go back the last 50 weeks, which is what I'm doing right now, you'll see this tilts a little further into Sergio's hands here. He's probably 142 is what I have his true money line at. He wins this matchup with Bubba about 58% of the time here at Liberty National. So really interesting to play around with this depending on how much short or long-term form you want to go with. But the one that kind of also interested me was our buddy Patrick Cantlay, who, for the most part flies underneath the radar across the industry against Justin Thomas, who I think there's a lot of building momentum for. I saw this at JT being -125 and Cantlay at -115, I believe. So Justin Thomas, a small favorite in this. My model would have Cantlay being actually having Cantlay being the favorite here. So first of all, and then winning this matchup about 59.5% of the time, which is not insignificant. When you're dealing with these razor thin matchups and prices, like this is a pretty significant one. So I have Cantlay being about -145. Obviously, you work a little vig into that. Maybe he should be actually -130. He's the dog on this, so there is a bit of value here, 15 points or so, depending on the book that you are getting this at. So that's one that I showed up. I love this tool because I can go through and change the scope of the window of how far back we want to look, put any 2 players against one another, and see what the model thinks the price should actually be. So pretty cool stuff there. There you go. That's the down and dirty betting preview. I like to just kind of run through after I've digested more things for the week, but those are going to be some of my investments or fades for the week. Let me know what you think. Tweet me. It's at RickRunGood, or leave a comment below. See ya.